All right, so what is up, guys? Welcome back to Late Night Shots, episode 18, and we're joined by a special guest today, two-time All-American for Mizzou. You got Don Bradley.
What up, fellas?
What's up,
What's
man?
up? What's up? So I'm gonna kick this off here. Just looking at your stats, I'm gonna have to say you probably had one of the better heavyweight high school careers I've seen. So let's just get on with that. When did you start wrestling? Like what age?
I was like 7 or 8. I kind of just did it for fun to lose weight, and then kept gaining weight.
Just kept gaining weight.
Gaining weight.
Did you wrestled all the way from then? So you're what, like about 13 on junior high, right? You're like 13, 14 when you wrestled
Yeah,
junior
something
high.
like that. Going
Yeah.
into
So
high school, yeah.
yeah. So how was that? How was wrestling junior high for you before you hit high school?
I was always the short, fat kid. And then
I feel
I don't,
you.
I don't know what happened. Something just like one day it just clicked. Like I just started getting better. I was still that little short, fat kid, but like I was just beating guys somehow, some way. Like kind of like your typical heavyweight thing, because I'd be wrestling guys with like mustaches and chest hair and armpit hair, and I'm like 5'6" and like 190 pounds, and I'm like, man, I'm never gonna be good. And eventually, I grew a little bit, and then some, like you were talking about earlier, some good genetics. It kicked in pretty late.
Pretty late
Yeah,
in the game.
pretty late.
Yeah. So your freshman, did you get pulled up your freshman year? Yeah.
Yeah, I was varsity. I qualified for state back then in Missouri. There was only 3 classes, so like if you qualified for state above 152, it was like a big deal. And I was like, man, I'm gonna be good, maybe.
All right. So your freshman year, did you not place at state your freshman year?
No, I didn't. I did not.
So you're going into your sophomore year. Like, what kind of changed for you that summer from sophomore to freshman to sophomore year? I know you were playing football, I'm sure.
Something like that. I think I went to every tournament there was. Like I would go to Fila Cadets. I went to like every local tournament that Missouri had in Kansas and back and forth. And I just remember like wrestling 2 divisions, like from like 6th grade to even when I was in college. I'd wrestle like, I'd wrestle cadets and juniors, and I'd wrestle like juniors and uh, at the time it was Fila Juniors, so UWW, and then I was wrestling UWW in the senior level at the same time. So I don't know if you guys experienced that as heavyweights, or at least I did when I was a kid. Like there was nobody my age that was good, so I always had to bump up. So I just always wrestled in everything. So I'd be at, let's say, like the regional in Vegas. I would just be wrestling in cadets and juniors, like every tournament. Southern Plains, I'd wrestle, and I had some dudes in my high school that were like amazing. Like my workout partner was some guy that he ended up being a 2-time All-American at Harvard, and he was a 3-time state champion. He kind of took me under his wing and beat the crap out of me. And then our heavyweight, I was a 215 at the time. Our heavyweight was he ended up starting nose guard at the University of Missouri, where I went to college at. So I was literally like praying to go to a tournament. Like, man, I hope I get a takedown in the tournament. In practice, I was just getting smacked around like a heavyweight.
Yeah. So then you show up your sophomore year, and what's going through your mind as you're just progressing through the season?
I just told you guys, I was just going to a tournament like, man, I just want to score some points. And
Yeah.
like in heavyweight, you're 215 or 220, whatever it is now. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you're just like, you just want to wrestle. Like me, I just wanted to score points because I knew going into practice 5 days a week, I wasn't going to score points. So when I got my chance, it was like, yeah, I'm going to light up the scoreboard. And that's what I try to do that now on a senior level, even in college. But, you get those guys who just kind of stall and circle to your back leg. So, yeah, I just try to score as many points as I could in high school.
So you found yourself in the state tournament once again as a sophomore, and you know, you won. You took it. You took the title. How did that feel for you just after your freshman year not being able to place to all of a sudden being the champ?
It was pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie, because
Yeah.
I ended up the 2 guys I lost to at the state tournament, I ended up beating them to win the state tournament. So it was kind of like, I'm an immature freshman with a little baby fat, and then all of a sudden my sophomore year, I kind of get this like Pedro mustache and kind of get some shoulders a little bit. So it was like, hey man, I'm good to go with these guys now. And I might have won on a stall call, but I want a state title. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And then I think that just elevated me. Like, confidence is everything, especially at like an upper weight. It's like, if you know what you're good at and you just stick to it, you're going to win 9 times out of 10.
So you're back in the same situation. You got, 2 more seasons left for you. You end up another state qualification your junior year, and kind of went the same way. You took another state title your junior year. Did that one start to feel even better now that you won 2? You're kind of like, all right, I'm kind of the guy now that everyone's looking at.
Yeah, it felt good. I bumped up to heavyweight that year, and I think I weighed into state tournament with like 235 with all my clothes on. Like, I was like, just going heavyweight just because somebody else on the team. And I was like, well, I'm never going to make 197. So I might as well start getting big as a junior. So it felt good to win as a junior, just kind of just dominating. I really think like my junior year of high school was probably like one of my best years of my whole wrestling career. So it was big. It was real big leading to your senior year, getting recruited and all that stuff.
So it's your senior year and you find yourself in a situation where you're not just a 2-time state champ. You end up being ranked number 1 in the nation.
Yeah, it was insane.
At heavyweight, right? At heavyweight?
Yeah. So
ranked number 1 in the nation at heavyweight, coming into your senior season, you must have felt like you had a big red target on your back. That everybody was coming out there to be like, all right, I'm wrestling Dog Bradley. It's time.
Yeah, it actually was it kind of sucked. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, everybody's like, oh, it's cool to be number 1. But it was like, I'd have kids from other teams. They'd literally be there and they see me and they'd be like, they forfeit to me. And I'd be like, man, I just want to wrestle. But anyways, long story short, I had like a arch rival. So there's a guy who he never won a state title, but he actually won a D2 title. And they dropped the program in Nebraska, long story short. But we wrestled in a local tournament during the year and in the duel and in the state semifinals. And he was ranked top 5 in the country. So I'm wrestling, literally, I'm in the state semifinals wrestling the number 3 guy in the country, and I'm number 1 at the time. So that's insane. And he actually beat me during the year. So when I lost, it was kind of like, all right, I guess you're not number 1 anymore. But the rankings didn't change. So when I got my chance to come back, I literally lit that dude up. I think I took him down like 3 times in 20 seconds. So that's pretty much my MO. If I want to get you, I'm going to take you down 2 or 3 times in 20 seconds.
Yeah, so I got a quick question, right? So, like, when I went out there, my first match was of this season. I wasn't even supposed to wrestle because of, like, my hydration test. I failed it. I had a Rutgers commit, right? And, like, I'm, like, a nobody at this point. I came off a 17-12 junior season. And this kid is a returning state placer, so he's pretty good, right? My first idea was, like, okay, I've never practiced a lat drop before, but, like, if I get my hands locked on it, I know he loves going upper body, so I'm just go for it, right? I ended up getting it, and then he got off his back and pinned me, but,
Yeah.
The whole place was crazy. I remember I posted that a while ago probably. But then, so, like, being, like, the number 1 guy, like, in the country, as you said, there's a target on your back with everybody, right?
Yeah.
I noticed that my senior season, like, a lot of people started to forfeit to me a little bit, especially if they have, like, freshman or sophomore, like, just, like, first-year kids on their team. But, like, I would go up against kids that were, like, juniors and seniors that just, like, they weren't, like, up to the level that I was. And I would have a lot of guys just going for, like, lat drops and just, like, going for, like, desperation moves on me. Like, how often did that happen to you?
Not as much as you think. Like, we kind of get this stigma of being a heavyweight where it's like, man, you're going to win 2-1 or 3-2. Like I said, like, I want to get takedowns. So when I had the opportunity, I was literally like, if I had to wrestle a freshman, my coaches had a goal. Like, you had to get 3 takedowns in the first period. So I wasn't that guy. Like, I probably could have got the pin record or try to do a lot of pins, but
tech fall,
all that stuff. But how's that going to help me be better? Because, like, when I was thinking about it, I'm aiming for the guy who's number 3 in the country at my weight. So I'm not worried about that. And at the time I was like, I'm thinking about what, this is a long time ago, but I'm thinking about, man, Cole Conrad is the number 1 guy in the country in college right now. How can I catch up to make up this ground with this guy? he was out there pinning guys, but he was taking them down. So that's what I wanted to do. I mean, I know that sounds bad. So they would try to throw me. I'd let them go. I'd cut them and take them down. I was kind of like that jerk heavyweight who was really athletic, kind of, big shoulders. I was just going after takedown after takedown after takedown.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I used to do that to my practice partner a lot.
Yeah, we all do that.
Yeah.
It was all just front headlocks too.
I can't wait. We have our freshman, our junior high heavyweights coming up to varsity next season, and I can't wait. I can't wait. It's my senior season. I've been practicing with a 6'6", 345-pound rider. Wrestled at Rider for 4 years. He's a prison guard. I wrestled with him for the last 2 years, and I just can't wait to get my hands on somebody. I can't wait. I've been beat up so bad. I can't wait. But so you were on the A6 Dream Team. You were the starter at heavyweight. Do they even do that anymore? I don't think I've heard of the A6 Dream Team.
They do it. It's just not as big as the deal it was. And honestly, I was kind of pissed about that A6 Dream Team because the guy who ended up getting like the Dream Team Wrestle of the Year, I wrestled him my sophomore year at 215, and I trashed that guy at a tournament. I teched him, and that guy got like the A6 Wrestler of the Year. But being that A6 Wrestler of the Year was really cool because like it's kind of like a fruition. I don't know if you guys ever see those posters. I don't know how you guys have it at high school now, but they have those A6 posters back in the day in your first team. So I mean, I still have one somewhere where it's like, I can show it to my kids or, I remember there was guys that I would see, they're like, oh, yeah, I was third team this year, like somebody who coached you or something. I'm like, man, that was like the goal. Like, I want to be on this poster. So there's sometimes there was like a couple years ago, I would go to one of my club teams back home in Kansas City, and I see my poster. My poster's hanging up in this high school I didn't even go to, and I'm just like, man, that's badass. So that was kind of like the goal, like in high school, I should say.
So, do you remember who was ranked under you in the nation your senior year?
At heavyweight, man, there was a lot of good dudes. Like, just the dudes my age, there was like Gerard Trice from Central Michigan. I wrestled him all the time, and man, dude, there's so many good people.
That's what I was thinking. I was trying to figure out like if we were to put you in a who's number one situation back then.
Oh, back then, it's funny you guys even say that before we even get to college. It's like from 2000, well, we didn't know who the national champ was this year, but we all assume it's Gable, right? Mm-hmm. So from like 2020, if we say he's a champ, to 2009, I've beaten the NCAA champ those years. I've beaten this Gwizdowski. I've beaten Mark Ellis, who's even at my own college. I beat him that year. He won a national title. Or, I beat David Zabriskie. I mean, I can go on and on. I've beat Zach Ray before. All these good dudes. I beat Kassar. I mean, these guys are they're tough as hell and hard to wrestle. But it's like if you go from 2020 to 2009, I've wrestled the national champ before. Actually, I've never wrestled Kyle Snyder. That's the one guy I never wrestled. Let me take that back. I've sparred with him, but I've never gone live or wrestled him.
I mean, that doesn't count that much.
That doesn't count that much. He's a 213 pounder.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, still an Olympic champ, but
he's like champ.
All you gotta do is throw him.
No, I could try.
You could try. But yeah, I mean that's just a crazy high school career. Some would say that's a dream career to be on that top of the state podium 3 times, number 1 in the nation. So I saw you played football and you did track. So I'm gonna guess you did the shot put and the discus.
I did it for 1 year just
to 1 year
look cool. And even football, to be honest with you guys, I played my sophomore year. And I made a bet. Like, coach was kind of a jerk with me. He's like, "You're going to Fargo. Like, what is that going to do? Like, you're not going to be good at wrestling." And I just won my first state title. And I was like, if I make it to the finals of Fargo, I'm not playing football. Well, I made it to the finals in Greco, and I was like, man, screw these guys. I'm not playing football. So then going into my senior year, I was not going to play football. And then I was like ranked like number 5 in the country as a junior at heavyweight. And the entire school, last day of school, was like, hey, man, come play football. You're going to be a beast. And it worked out. It was actually kind of cool because I got a break from from wrestling practice for 3 months because of football. So I was pretty pumped about that.
So what we're saying is, were you recruited for football or not?
Man, I couldn't even tell you the plays that were going on in football. Like, I know now, but I wish I would have known then. Like, hey, man, this is how you stunt this way, and this is why this is how the defense is. I was just like, you're telling me I don't – because my high school coaches were tough on me. They knew I could be great. So it was like I was doing everything. So I was like, I get a break from wrestling practice for 3 months. Thank the Lord. So I took it. I took the chance and just ran with it.
All right, so you're from Missouri. You know, it's at that point. No, how many college offers did you get? Quite a lot for wrestling.
No, you guys are gonna really laugh at me. No, like
Really?
I could tell you like 4 schools I called, and like I personally reached out to them, and I was like, hey, I just want Fargo, blah blah blah, and they're like, yeah, you could walk on. Like I just was like, what? You know, Iowa State, I called him. Cale Sanderson told me I wasn't good enough. I could walk on. Tom Ryan told me the same thing at Ohio State. I got him back actually because I ended up beating their assistant coach like 2 years later at the U.S. Open. Tommy Rollins, I beat him twice, so I got him back. Minnesota kind of recruited me, but they kind of stopped talking to me. And even Tom Brands, they signed a kid that I beaten before. And so my senior year, I went to Fargo. Short story. I went to Fargo just to wrestle that kid that Tom Brand signed over me, and I fived him in the first like 10 seconds, and then I tacked him again like the next period. It's old school rules, and I went up to him and was like, "Yeah, that's the guy you signed over me. Good decision." He ended up being a Big Ten champ for him, Blake Raising or whatever, but I kind of just wanted to send a message. So I went to Missouri just because at the time there was no heavyweight national champ. Little did I know I was going to help the guy be a national champ. So it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember when what was it, the Big Ten semifinals where it was at 165 you had Logan Massa versus Alex Marinelli, right? Massa beats him, starts flexing in Brand's face.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
That was one of the best things I've seen, you know.
Yeah, you got to let people know sometimes.
Yeah.
You do this hard sport where it's like, you know, it's kind of frowned upon to celebrate, but it's like, man, I got to carry a 285-pound dude on my back and run laps around the practice room. I'm going to celebrate if I win. I mean, sorry, I'm not carrying a 145-pound guy that's nothing. Like carrying a huge guy and I do all this hard work, I'm going to make it worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a similar situation in my high school. It was my sophomore year. We were wrestling like for the team to qualify for state, and we were down by 5, and it was up to the heavyweight match. So I'm like, I got a pin to win here. I got a pin to win. So wrestling kid, blast double him off his feet, take him down, pin him. Again, I start screaming. I flex. The ref ends up raising the other kid's hand and goes, wow, you have poor sportsmanship. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I've worked my ass off to get to where I was at. And, like, I just pinned the kid to qualify us for this, like, for that, to get to the next round to qualify for state. I'm like, you really got to do me like that, man? He ruined my video, too. My mom has this on video. I'm like, this is a great match for me to send to these college coaches. And he raises the other kid's hand. I'm like, come on.
That's up, man. That's up.
All right, so you pick Missouri. You know, was that kind of like that was pretty much that's where you wanted to be?
Yeah, I mean, I loved everything about it. Our state tournament in Missouri is at the University of Missouri, so it was cool, man. It was cool, and like I said, all these other programs kind of just said like, "Yeah, you're okay. You could walk on," and then at Missouri, it was like,
"You're okay." I love that. You're okay. You won Fargo, 3-time state champ. You're okay.
That's crazy. In Jersey, we literally had we have guys committed to like I remember I wrestled a kid in my third, fourth match at the district tournament. He beat me 4-2. He ended up getting spladed by a kid that I beat in the first round of regions. So if you lose in the first round of regions, you're done, right? So it's top 3 in district make regions, top 4 in regions make state, and top 8 plates, right? And then that kid, like I follow him on Instagram and everything. It's like we're good. And then I see 2 months later he commits to Rider.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah. And then you also have guys that are like top 4, top 5 in the state committed to like D2 and D3 schools.
Yeah, man. It's just, you know, if you're not the perfect height at heavyweight, or
the dude was like 5'9", like he was like
I don't know,
maybe like 250.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, I've definitely gone through that too. Or like I reach out to some colleges, they're like, Well, nah. I know you could come, you get accepted into the school, then you can come wrestle. But other than that, no.
Yeah.
So I think I have like pretty much two set offers right now that I'm looking at Division II. So and I got one more season left. So who knows? I pop out with the PA state title, and I might change some things.
For sure, man. Let's go get it.
All right, so Akil, you want to take it over from the college and
Sure. So you're wrestling for the Mizzou Tigers, your freshman season. Did you redshirt or?
I did redshirt. I redshirted.
How did that season go?
It went really good, man. I went like 28-8. I wrestled at Midlands.
Did you place at any of these tournaments?
Huh?
Did you place at any of these tournaments?
I did not place at Midlands, but I beat a couple of guys that were ranked in the top 20, and I lost to guys that were top 10. And I went to that. I went to all the tournaments that you could go to, and I think I was like 28-8 as a redshirt freshman. So I was like,
Midlands, you're wrestling a tough schedule, right? You're wrestling a Big Ten caliber schedule. Midlands has some tough guys. They had Mike McMullen and all them guys that year now.
Oh, yeah, when I went a little while ago, there were some dudes you guys don't even know about. Yeah. Man, these guys are good.
Just looking at Midlands now, like you have like different teams coming onto the scene because you don't really know like what schools the good heavyweights go to because it's not the typical like Ohio State, Penn State, and all that anymore.
Yeah,
you have guys coming out
like
from Central Michigan,
Baptist, and all that kind of schools too. Like all those schools too are making a come up. I said this in another video that the Ivy League schools are on a come up. You're gonna see some really good Ivy League teams coming up now.
For sure.
Princeton, Harvard, like they're gonna have some lineups.
Got that RTC money to help those guys bring in guys like me who are training senior level to train with those guys. So they're all gonna jump.
If Princeton can get like a solid heavyweight, they'd be set. They got Brucky. If Brucky can move up to heavyweight too, like the dude looks like he's sucking like 30-some pounds.
Yeah, man, but that heavyweight strength, they don't know about it, man. They don't know about it.
They don't know about that big boy strength.
Brucky was definitely like 250.
Yeah, he looked like it.
Yeah. Didn't Jane Cox wrestle heavyweight?
He wrestled a couple matches at heavyweight. Yeah.
He was big. I don't know how he won 97.
Oh man,
he just sweats so much. It's insane. So you went 28-8. Your redshirt season. That's a solid redshirt, especially for a heavyweight. And other teams are passing up on you. It's not like you're a highly recruited guy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's like you had a great high school career. You're ranked number 1 in the country. Finishing this off, and you have a guy like Seth Neville's out of Penn State, who's one of the most highly recruited guys. And that was in a weight class with Gable Stevenson, Colton Schultz, and Greg Kirkfleet, and he was ranked 4th. But just because of the fact that he won 4 state titles, and he had already beaten like a couple of D1 opponents wrestling for Clovis, he was recruited so much higher. And like his first season, is underwhelming to say the least. For the amount of hype he had, like it wasn't a bad season. It just wasn't like to the point where they really expected it. And for you to be a guy like that, they're passing up on guys like that. Guys like Cale Sanderson, who had I think Jimmy Lawson that year, 3-time state champ at New Jersey.
It was a little before that. That's when he was still at Iowa State.
Iowa State.
He had David Zabriskie though, who ended up winning it eventually. But
like guys like Penn State, Iowa State. You have brands at Iowa who had I think Bobby Telford coming in.
Yeah, beat that
guy soon. Yeah. And then who did
just start a list of guys you've beaten? We'll just check them all off.
Yeah, no, and the fact that like these guys get recruited over you, that puts like a chip on your shoulder. Like if I beat this guy, like just hit a quick flex on the coach. Yeah. Like you should have picked me instead, And that's just, like a little bit of extra motivation to keep moving forward right there.
Yeah, it's not like a disrespect. It's kind of like, well, hey, this guy's cheaper or this guy's not out of state or something. I don't know. I
feel like you see now, like all these guys that are ranked number 1 in the nation, like they have every Big Ten school. So I feel like times have definitely changed with the way like that, especially.
For sure.
It's a lot of the times like your height is like a big factor and like your frame because you see guys like again Fernandez from New Jersey. He's at Cornell now. He was like 220 his senior year, and now he's like just as lean, but like 270.
Yeah, it's insane, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah. He was like a nobody coming into his junior year.
Yeah, and he's amazing. I watched that dude. I'm like, watched the highlights you guys posted of that guy, and I'm like,
That was his state tournament. He pinned everybody in the state, and he teched the second best kid in the state just to prove that he could score points on people. That's what he said during the interview.
That's a heavyweight. I like that.
That's a heavyweight.
He was a 170 as a freshman too.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
The biggest thing for him is if he can get out from bottom on these better guys, right?
Yeah, you got to get out.
That's going to be a big thing you're seeing out this weight class now, right? With guys like you have Trent Hilger, Greg Kerkvliet, and Tony Cassiope, Matt Stencil, guys that can ride on top very well. Yeah, so my bad. We'll get back to you.
Good, man. I like these young kids.
Yeah. Your red shirt, your actual freshman season, did you get the starting? You didn't, right?
I went back and forth with a guy named Mark Ellis who ended up winning it that year.
Yeah.
But I really thought I was doing well because my true freshman year, I took 8th at the U.S. Open in the senior level.
Yeah.
And I'm I beat a couple of good guys, and I actually made the junior world team, and I didn't go. I was just like, man, I don't want to go, which is kind of crazy. So I was like, man, I was just training to work with him, and me and Ellis were. When I tell you guys this, like we were battling, like I'm talking like fist fights, like slapping each other, like our parents going at it in the stands for 2 years. And I actually beat him in the wrestle-offs almost every time. And it would just come down to a tournament. He would do better than me. And I didn't really agree with it, but, what are you going to do? You can complain about it, or you can step up and be a man and still try to prepare. So sometimes you just got to look for the next best thing. And I think my freshman year where I was in and out of the lineup, we both switched. I was actually like 17-3, and he was 39-3 that year and won a title. So it could have went either way, and he was first that year, and I beat him. I was one of his losses, which is even more crazy, or maybe unofficially at the wrestle-off or whatever. But there was like 5 out of the 8 All-Americans that year. 5 of them I beat, and a couple of them I beat at Midlands that year. I took 4th at Midlands. I beat the number 1 seed first round, and it was actually David Zabriskie, and I made sure I told Kale, good job. Just go back to that, but. Yeah, man, it was a good freshman year, but I think I was like on the Win magazine or Amateur Wrestling News, like first team, like second freshman of the year. So I think Andrew Howe got it, but I could have been freshman of the year, and I was a backup because my record was so good, and I beat 5 All-Americans that year. But it happens.
Like a lot of the times, like you're a freshman, he was a senior, right?
He was actually a junior. He was a junior.
Yeah. A lot of times they're gonna lean towards like the older guy, the guy that should be more consistent. It doesn't always work out like that. But a lot of times I've seen coaches do this. Like if guys are even, the younger guys are normally you're like the guy who's chasing him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like just put like a little bit extra motivation for you. That's what I've seen.
It was totally. It still drives me to this day. Like. I know this might sound weird or bad, but it's like I still walk into the Missouri room now that I'm a coach and I'm still training, and I see that picture of him being a national champion. It's like
that should be me.
That should be me, right? That makes me sound maybe bitter, or maybe it's just like I had such high goals and I set them so high that like that picture still motivates me, and it's 12 years later. It's funny because I just talked to Bart 2 days ago. He texted me like, hey man, he's a big FCA Midwest rep guy. He's like, hey man, I got this camp going on. I need your help. I'm like, man, I'll be there in a second. And it's crazy because me and that guy could talk now. Like none of that happened. But when I'm telling you guys what was going on, it was crazy. Like I'm talking like we'd both get kicked out of practice. We'd be fighting. We'd be wrestling at tournaments. Like insane stuff.
You guys would be like fist fighting and everything at practice.
Oh yeah, it was
bad.
It was like do or die. Like it was our job. Like
I can't wait for college.
Yeah, I never really had that. Like it was like me. Like I'd be wrestling with like a 182. Like we had like a backup heavyweight in the 220, but our 182 was, he should have been one of the top guys in the state, but like he just didn't have a good postseason. You know who John Poznansky is?
Yeah.
He's like, he almost took. No, he didn't almost take it. No, he got teched. Poznansky had a crazy season, just teching and pinning everybody throughout the state. That was like I think his first loss of the season was in the county finals to him.
Yeah, he I coached against him at Fargo. He
Yeah.
wrestled Rocky Elam.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, or that same bracket, Bazansky. Yeah, I
His
remember.
attack rate is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. He was a guy like it wasn't even like the fact that like I was stronger, like he was stronger, like anybody, like he had 100 times better technique than me. It's pretty easy to see. It would just be like a brawl, even though like I was a lot stronger than me. It would just get like I would put him in like a cradle or something. He would just start like punching me in the face, and it would just get to that point.
Yeah,
It wouldn't even get to the point where like the coaches would care because they know like if we get like we're the two guys, like if you get to that point, like he's still my boy at the end of the day.
You walk
But,
out
like,
and you respect each other.
Yeah, it's just like he's not gonna let somebody do that to him, and he's gonna like stand up for yourself to an extent like in that situation.
For sure, bro.
Yeah, like when he gets to that point, like both of us are gonna get better from that, and that stuff wouldn't necessarily happen with me wrestling or 220 or like the other heavyweight guys that you could kind of just like beat up more, and when like once you start taking down, takedowns get easier and easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't got that.
Yeah.
I just get my ass kicked every day.
No, I'd be like that. We have a coach. He was I think he placed 5th in the state. I think 2000 something like that. He wrestled around the time that Brock Lesnar was in college and all that. He wrestled 171 for Rutgers. And then after that, he fought in the UFC in undercard bout. His name is Ricardo Romero.
I heard of that dude. Yeah.
He was jacked. He was like a 205 and then 245 in the UFC, and I was like 260, about 40 years old. You would think he's just like an old man, but he has like one of the leanest bodies I've ever seen, which kind of scares me. And then when he would wrestle me, we would do this drill where like stand up and then the other guy, Matt, returns you, right? And then nobody on my team would be strong enough to lift me. So he would just walk over and he wouldn't even put his legs into it. He would just casually like just lift. My feet would fly above his head. Yeah.
That's the technique.
Because you see guys like Gable doing that, like just mat returning guys, not because you even need to. Like you can just trip guys, conserve your energy. You just gotta do it to show off a little bit, right?
Yeah. For sure.
So he's like one of the guys like, but there's a point where like a guy's like so good that they're just beating you up and then you're just like dying there. It's not even like you have a chance to do anything.
It's not even fun. It's not even fun when that happens.
I would touch him and then he'd be like behind me, or like I'd be up in the air with a blast double or something like that.
Yeah, makes you better, makes you tougher.
The fact that he's like 40 years old and in that good a shape, it's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Hey, you never lose it. You never lose it once you get it.
Nah, he would put me in like random
submissions. Sport of wrestling.
Wrestling too.
The sport of wrestling. Once you know it, you never forget it.
Yeah, it's painful.
We got old guys that graduated in like 60s that come back and they come in the room and they're hitting shots and stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, you're literally ancient. Like, come on. I'm like,
you're doing that, man.
Yeah, they know still. They're still all there, man.
It's interesting to look back on this, like when you're in like the wrestling room in high school, like even like just like me ending my season just like a couple months ago, like you look back at it and you'd be like, oh, like maybe my junior season was my best season. My senior season, on paper, it was like 100 times better than my junior season, but my junior season, I won the tournament. My senior year, I lost in overtime in that same tournament to a different kid. I got pinned in overtime. It was like one of the most embarrassing things that's happened to me. And then we go to the county tournament. I'm the 4 seed. I lose to the 1 seed, a kid who pinned me in the first period last time. It was 1-0. I go for something, and I lose 3-0, like the last 20 seconds of the match. And I'm like, you're already so like mentally messed up to the point where like I had a semi-slide, like I'm in that wrestle back. I'm wrestling a 220, right? The kid that I pinned the last time we wrestled, I'm up 5-0. He hits like a Granby to get out, and we're in the upper body tie. And the fact that like it never went through my head that he might go big or something here, and then I just got launched like right to my back.
You got launched.
It wasn't even. It was the worst latch up I've ever seen. Where like he just pulled me down in slow motion. Like my brain wasn't thinking correctly to the point where I just went to my back. I've never heard the end of that.
Oh man.
Yeah. The kid was shredded though, so it didn't look too bad. Yeah.
All right. So we get to your junior season.
Okay,
my
bad.
Sophomore year, I still didn't start. We went back and forth, and Mark ended up taking 6 that year.
You're still wrestling at these like the Midlands and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was actually on the national team my first year, so I'm a backup heavyweight. and I go to World Team Trials and I take third. So I don't win it. So just to tell you guys this story, I don't win nationals. Marks win. So I go to U.S. Open. And I take fourth, and I'm wrestling juniors or UWW juniors at the same time. So I take fourth in the U.S. Open, and I take first in the juniors at the same time. Like, I could tell you, I wrestled first round of the Open. I wrestled the finals of UWW juniors there, and then I walked off the mat and went to the quarterfinals. Like, within 30 minutes, I wrestled 3 matches. So that's what I didn't know anything better. It's like, well, this guy won nationals. This is what I got to do. So I end up making the junior world team. I actually win junior worlds that summer. So I'm a junior world champ. And so when me and Mark go to wrestle off that year, it is the 2009 junior world champ at heavyweight and the 2009 NCAA heavyweight champ at a college black and gold wrestle off.
That's a pretty cool wrestle off.
It was insane. It was like crazy, and we wrestled the whole year back and forth. And I actually won like 2 out of the 3 times. He only beat me once, but yet again I didn't start. So then again I just go to nationals and place at the Open and make the national team again. And then going into my junior year, things were good. I was the man.
Things were good. You were the man. You got that spot finally. You were.
Yeah.
So you have you had 2 extremely solid, like your freshman season, your sophomore season, but you had an absolute stud ahead of you. You know, you're going back and forth with the spot, and now he's gone. Your junior season, right? And that's when you see like the biggest breakout in a lot of these guys are junior season. So like, what was that? You know, you had, I think, your best season. Your junior season, you placed
took third.
Yeah. So just describe me like your run like a nationals, becoming an All-American. It's like how it felt, like all that.
It was insane. I was like oblivious. Like, you know, you think about like the state tournament, and you're like, oh, it's another tournament. But when you're at NCAAs, there's guys from, you know, Central Michigan, or, you know, people are just booing you. You don't even know you because you're a higher seed. It's like Cinderella story. They want the Tyreek Wilson story of the tournament. They want the unseeded guy to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And
Makai Lewis.
They want that stuff. So you're just like, I was actually the 5 seed. I choked at one tournament, had like a slim eye side.
Mm-hmm.
So I should have been like the 2 seed, but I was actually the 5 seed. And it was like every match was do or die. Like, I think every guy I wrestled was like really, really good. And that's how it is in college. But it was like, this guy ended up being like really good. This guy was really good. So I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just kind of like taking it one match at a time. And there's you make it to the quarterfinals, and you guys will see that round is like the best round of wrestling. And because if you're the guy in the quarterfinals, you're like, I win. The worst place I could do is 6. So I end up wrestling some guys in the WWE now in the quarterfinals, but Ben Askren's in the corner, and he was like at Mizzou when I was there. So that kind of really messed with my head. Like, man, this is the guy I grew up looking up to, who coached me for 3 years. Now he's telling this other guy every single move I do. So when I did win that match, it was kind of like 25,000 pounds of stress was off my shoulders.
He's in the WWE.
It's like you're an All-American now, you know?
Yeah, it's All-American. Yeah, he's in the WWE. He's that Otis guy. Not that Otis guy, but his tag team partner in Heavy Machinery or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was like the coolest thing ever. And then you're in the semis, and like, man, semis is like, I just kind of you're just like, you're in the NCAA semifinals, and like, if I win, I'm in the NCAA finals. And yeah, I lost a close one to Zach Ray. He was a really good. We wrestled a lot growing up in high school and stuff. You know, he's a great Jersey wrestler. He just doesn't do much, and he's so incredibly strong. Like, when people say, man, Zach Ray, he doesn't have any offense, blah, blah, blah. That dude is so strong, you can't even get to his leg. His leg is like, it's shredded. Like, you could look at those pictures of his legs. His legs are shredded. So lost a close one to him, and just came back and did the next best thing and took third. And it was like cool. Like, I think I was smiling happier than Zach Ray was, because he was All-American the year before. All the other guys were probably All-American. Are kind of like, man, I took 7th or 5th, and I'm just like, Yeah, I took third. I'm pumped. Like, 'cause I honestly experienced two things where I never even got the opportunity. So I
Yeah.
took the most out of it. I was excited and I was happy.
It's like you appreciate him more, like when you didn't really have a chance, you know? It's
Okay.
like, you know, you could have been the All-American, you could have been national champ, but like you already lost 2 of your years to like maybe some BS that you think maybe you should have had, maybe you shouldn't have. But now that you actually got there, it's like you're just relieved, honestly, for the most
Relieved.
part.
Honestly, relieved. Like,
So who did you wrestle for that third, fourth match?
I wrestled Gerard Trice, who I wrestled a lot in high school too.
Yeah.
So I remember who was in my bracket like my senior year. It was like me, Gerard Trice, Zach Ray, Ryan Flores. Like these are all the guys in my weight in like high school.
Yeah.
So now we're wrestling like in college. And it's like, yeah. But I wrestled Gerard Trice, and we had definitely had a lot of battles.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. I've won more times than he did, but just a couple of times he beat me. But just beating him for third, I think he beat me the year before in the Midland semi. So I wrestled him and I won, and I was just excited, like, because he's just an arch rival. So it was cool.
Another big thing I've seen, like, now you have these guys who come in as, like, even as low as 182 and end up wrestling heavyweight.
Yes.
Like, by the time, like, guys like Jacob Casper. Like, I didn't see that a lot back then. Like, it happened, like, guys like 220s.
Yes, there's a lot of guys. Yes.
Yeah. But you didn't see it to, like, the extent that you do now.
I wrestled a couple guys that were 220 pounds, and you're like, man, this dude should be a 97-pounder. He's so fast. Like, why is this guy wrestling me? So it's happened. It happened towards my senior year. I wrestled some guys that I was like, this guy was an 84-pounder 2 years ago. What is he doing? Why is this guy throwing legs on me? Like, all right, let's go.
Wasn't Derek White super? Like he was the super.
Derek White was 97, you know.
Yeah.
He was a 125 his first year in high school.
Part of me still thinks that Anthony Cassar still should wrestle 197. I don't know.
He couldn't make the cut anymore. That's why he bumped up.
Anymore. Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for Nick Neville's, you know.
Yeah, man. Tough situation.
Yeah, he's a good.
It's going to be worse if Seth gets benched next year, too.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, with Greg Kirk there, I mean.
Oh, no, man. After what Kirk did at the Senior Nationals.
Pretty good, man. Really good.
He is a
Gets
solid. He's going to be a solid freshman, I think. Yeah. He's my pick for the Natty title this year, so.
I'm not telling you my pick. I'm gonna stay.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like you're a Gable guy. I feel like you're a Gable fan.
I don't know about that, but
I think he's really, really talented, and I mean I'm coaching at Mizzou, or I was, or I am. So Zach Elam's my guy.
Make a huge run, you know.
Yeah, he could. Yeah. After
I saw his match with what's his name, Derek White, went to overtime with him.
Yeah, that was his true freshman year, so he got the red shirt this year and trained with me. And
that's what I thought it was like an Olympic. I don't know why.
Nah, he didn't take Olympic. Everybody thinks it was
right?
it's just a regular red shirt. So yeah, he
the
was.
Main
like,
thing with him is like, did you saw that match with him and Conan Jennings from Northwestern?
Yeah,
I think that was like probably like his most impressive match that I've seen.
Yeah, he's just a guy when it's like
he can grind it out. You know?
He's gonna turn it on. So yeah.
I really don't know like where a lot of these guys end up, you know, because you have like so many newcomers to the weight class. Because like I even have like a guy like Jordan Wood possibly not making the podium. He's a guy who placed fourth the year before.
He's a classic. That's just the guy that you gotta think of every time you talk about NCAA heavyweight wrestling. I feel like Jordan Wood's just a guy that's been right in that range of that fourth to fifth place. You know, he just doesn't have enough to push him over the hill. You know, I think he's a senior this year, you know.
He's tough, man.
He's a tough guy.
And especially with a guy like Kirkley, who's like that good on top with the legs and everything, you might have some doubt if people can get out on him. Yeah,
man. I like watching these heavyweights these days. These guys can scrap. They can go at it. Like got guys like Gable and even Hilger. Like I like watching that guy wrestle. His sweep single is amazing. And you got
what was it against Michigan State? He hit that like 5 times that match.
Yeah, he's good, man. Like you got those guys. You got Cassiope, who's your traditional heavyweight, but his hand fighting skills are crazy. Like I'm just a fan of it, and I'm the older heavyweight trying to do something. I'm like, oh hey, I'm still picking up stuff that these guys are doing, so it's cool, man. Like I'm a heavyweight fan.
We'll tell Hill you like his sweep single tomorrow. We'll let him know that Don Bradley likes your sweep single. We'll let him know.
Yeah, we'll let him know. What's his name? The main thing, like, if you see a guy like Cassiope, like, he's able to get those level changes without actually level changing.
I mean, his club underhook series is like amazing. Like, you know, like you watch that, you see that story that he was a boxer growing up.
Yeah.
So now when you see him and he gets that underhook,
Yeah.
You're like, man, this dude just boom.
Imagine boxing against him though. I'd be like, whoa, all right, man, you take it easy on me.
He's in that aisle room too, man, wrestling Telford every day, so you know he's tough wrestling that guy. You got to be tough.
Okay, let's get to the big question. What is your opinion on Mason Paris?
Man, I don't really have an opinion on that guy. I think he's good. He's junior world champ.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've never wrestled him. I never felt him before, so I can't really comment on him. Like,
but you know, like how he has that dump, right? Like that's the move.
I don't know, man. I don't think he could hit it on me, but I'm not.
I don't think either.
I think Cassiope might just slipped up a little bit.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah,
I'm on the podcast, Mom.
He might have just doubted the guy. I don't know.
Because Paris is a guy, like, you saw Hilger beat him the year before, and then Paris. People think Paris, like, these guys are small, right? Paris went from like 230 to like 255. I saw a video of him squatting 700.
Yeah, it's
that safety bar. And then Paris comes back to only beat Hilger by like a point. You know?
Yeah. Mason Paris, man, he's tough. Like, I'm never going to discredit a junior world champ.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, think about this. You think about the junior world champs, especially in the heavyweight in the U.S. in the last 10 years, you got Gable Stevenson, you got me, you got
Kirk.
Mason Paris, you got Kirk Fleet, who took second or at cadets, but he still wrestled UWG. Zach Elam's a junior world silver medalist at 213. I mean, that alone is insane. And you have Amar Desi, he's a junior world champ.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. That's crazy. And when I think about that, I was wrestling at the NYC tournament this year, and 1, 2, 3 was Gable, me, and Desi.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 junior world champs on a podium at a little international tournament in New York City. So it's like,
because that's the thing.
Junior world success.
Like, most of the competition is in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you have those outliers like what's that guy from Georgia, Gino Petriashvili, and you have Taha Agul, right?
Yeah, those 2 guys are tough, man. You got a couple Iranian guys that are good. So I've wrestled all those guys.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I don't even think Taha was going to wrestle this year at the Olympics.
I think he wasn't, but now that it got pushed back, I think he is. So we'll see.
You know, he could claim that. He's gonna be the front runner to claim that title, but
for sure, man, he's tough. I've wrestled with Precious Vili before, and I was up big on that guy. I'd end up losing, so it's hard to like.
Is he the guy who beat Gable in that match?
No, that guy was from like Uzbekistan or something.
Yeah, from Uzbekistan. I haven't seen anything from him, which is
he kind of caught him in that throw, which is crazy.
Gable's a guy who's susceptible to upper body. I remember watching your match. You dug double unders on him, just threw him. The same with Adam Kuhn also.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if those were inbounds, could have been a completely different match.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think. Do you think Adam Kuhn will ever wrestle freestyle again?
Nah, he has to cut a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I just don't think his style. Like, there's too many good guys now.
Yeah.
You got good dudes like like you just know that he's going there. You just stop it. Like, he's kind of heavy-footed because he's wrestling Greco, so it's almost like you're wrestling. He steps, and you time it like sweep. Like a guy like Hilger, I can see just timing, hitting a sweep, or Cassiope hitting that club.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if Cassiope was wrestling on a senior level, he would do really well because he has those good club underhooks, and he hits your back and comes back and gets that snatch. And when he has that snatch, he's like here and finishing right away. So.
Yeah, I feel like we talk a lot about on this podcast just the transition of the heavyweight, how it went from the the big guys that would just, they tie up with the end snap. And now you got these guys that are taking these crazy shots and scrambling and doing splits and all this kind of crazy stuff. Like, and yet you still got some of those big guys. You see Cassiope, he's kind of like that Adam Kuhn type of style wrestler where he's a bigger guy, taller. He's gonna do the clubs and everything and just try to still use that muscle to his advantage.
For sure, man. It's crazy. You got dudes like Stencil who's like 275 out here shooting low singles and
he's hitting splits on guys too.
They hit the splits.
He just sends it. Everything that dude does is he just sends it.
Did you ever see Matt Stencil I remember I posted, you probably saw Matt Stencil in the blood round against Mason Paris?
I did see that.
Yeah.
And Mason Paris beat him 3 times this year, which is insane.
Yeah,
Stencil only had 4
like that 30 pounds he put on. And they were still in like 1-0 matches. I remember that.
I still can't believe you pinned Mason Paris. I still can't believe that.
The main thing I think you have to look at here is like the fact that like this is the first year that Paris has wrestled year round, so you're gonna see a bigger jump than like in years past. And then the jump will probably go back to normal, right?
Yeah, he's just in the weight room. I mean, that dude's they do that D1 offers to play linebacker. I mean, they weren't big.
Yeah, he said he might even play. He might even take that 5th year to go play football.
He might as well. Man, I would for sure. I wish I would have done that.
Who's that?
Who's
the guy that wrestled in place in the NFL now?
Josh Hokett from Fresno State.
Yeah.
He wasn't the greatest wrestler. Like he was a raw athlete though.
He would just create scrambles.
Yeah. It's like I don't think he would have All-American for just that fact right there. I think they're more technical guys in the field.
Yeah, he was a 97 when he All-American. But, hey, man, he was
16 seed, that's impressive,
Hey, now
I saw his match against Bo Nickel, like, and to have that and just be like, just going in with that energy, just be like, I don't care who you are. You can be a 3-time national finalist already, and I'm going to go try to throw you in your best position. Like,
yeah, he didn't care. He sent it. I like guys like that.
Yeah.
Like him and Stencil, they don't care if they win or lose. They're going.
Let it fly.
I think a good matchup is a Matt Stencil versus Gable Steveson,
Yeah, man, I want to see that. I want to see all those matches. Like, I wish.
Because that would have gone down, I think, in the semis this year. Because I think Stencil would beat Tanner Hall in the quarters.
Sure. I mean, I've wrestled Tanner Hall a lot, and I've never wrestled Stencil, but I mean, Stencil, the way he wrestles, he goes after it. I like the way he goes after it. So, and Tanner Hall's not going to do anything. He's just going to sit here and body lock, and he's going to do your old school 1970 high single. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's the only thing he has. And
it's not too consistent on the high-level guys,
No, when you see a guy like Stencil who's going to do splits, he's going to throw a headlock, he's going to do inside trip. I mean, he's going to do everything. That's what the people come to see. Like, that's what you want your team to stay for. Like, they stay for. Yeah, man, that's what I want to see. So, yeah, that's important.
Or a big
I have fun for those tournaments. I don't know why people want to go home early, Like, I'm just chilling there. Just get to, like, escape reality for, like, a whole day.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just be surrounded
People
by
I just want to go home at this point. Like, I don't know. Maybe on the first day of a tournament. Like, on the second day, like, I'm just chilling,
Yeah.
I'm just one of those guys that just likes wrestling. I don't care if I'm wrestling, watching wrestling. Like, I just want to be around wrestling. It's just.
Yeah. So, the main thing I've seen, if you look at all these top heavyweights from last year, none of them, I think, except for Cassiope, were heavyweights in high school.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, these guys.
Remember, Stencil was a 195, then was like 270 his freshman year.
Yeah. Or Gable was like a 220, and Kirk Fleet.
Kirkville was at 182 his freshman year.
Yeah, you got – I don't know what – I think Hilger was a 220 maybe for a year.
I remember Hilger started off as a 170 in high school, then bumped to 215 the next year, His legs were massive, That's the main thing.
Yeah, even Jordan Wood was a 220-pounder, 215, and him and Gable battles back in the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those guys are just – as you guys get to see this, like, I'm the old guy. You see guys like on Flow Wrestling and stuff, you guys can break down.
Yeah.
You guys get to watch these high-level matches. Like you posted that match of Mason Paris and Stencil. Like,
when
I was growing up, there was like you had to hit the VCR and rewind it, and hopefully somebody recorded it. Yeah. Now, like, we didn't have – YouTube was kind of just growing then. Flow Wrestling and Rofkin and, podcasts. There was no Instagram. There was only Facebook. So, yeah, you guys could
I love going back. Yeah. Like I love going back and watching some of these like old matches, because you're seeing some guys have like some insanely contrasting styles. Because if you
Yeah.
put a guy like Gable and Mason Parrish are like the two top guys in the field, but Gable's gonna win that match every time. But then you put up a guy like Kirk Flitt versus Gable, that match can go either way. It all depends on like who does better in what positions.
Yeah.
Because on the feet, Gable's superior, but not by as much, because Kirk has the athletic advantage in that sense.
Oh man, I'm not commenting on those two.
Yeah.
I've wrestled both those guys like when they're in high school, and I'm like,
Did you beat Kirk?
no, I've only trained with him. I've never
Did you train
wrestled
with
him in
him?
a tournament.
Yeah, he presents like some unique challenges, to wrestle.
So long, his ankle pick is
Yeah.
good.
And he's an insanely strong dude because people were trying to say strength is not going to be a thing. I see videos of this guy benching like 420.
Yeah, I probably can't do that right now. And
Yeah, he's a freak of nature. Like you see NFL linemen, they don't even mention that. And they're like 350 pounds, a lot of them.
he's a freak, man.
Yeah. I literally look because he's not even that small though, as people think. He's probably around 250, right?
Yeah, I think Kersley's only like 235,
He's only
240.
235. He looks a lot bigger than that to me.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Watching him at the Open, I was like, man, is this dude gonna beat Tony Nelson? I have to wrestle like a young kid in the finals, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little relieved. I was like,
Yeah.
I've wrestled Tony Nelson a million times, so I'm like, I know what the game plan is against him.
Yeah.
Against Kersley, I'd have to.
Yeah. You versus Tony Nelson and you versus a guy like Nick Wizdowski, you're gonna be like three like even matches right there.
Yeah, even matches, even like a match with Gable, like,
Like you can figure him out. Like each time he wrestles, getting closer and closer.
yeah. So I beat him the first time, and he's just really athletic, and it made me really have to focus on moving my feet, being an athlete, not just being your typical heavyweight. Nothing against Tony Nelson, but he's really heavy-footed and he clubs you hard. Jeez, get off me!
Yeah,
But
it's
if
like
you're
Gable can do the same thing too. Like he can come with those powerful snaps.
yeah, but he's going. He has the same thing. Gets to me every time he fakes this way, gets me to step and drops low single, comes up. So now I have to focus on stopping that. And with Wizdowski, he has that great sweep single. And you know it's coming every time.
Yeah.
You don't know which side it's coming from. So you got to be ready to sprawl, and he's going to hit you with a cutback. I can tell you I can tell you every single guy's thing. I can tell you Kirk Fleet's thing. I can tell you all these guys that I've studied, I've watched, and I care about it. So I know what they're good at.
Yeah.
The hard part is just executing against a guy.
A lot easier said than done on these guys.
Yeah, for sure.
You've obviously seen the Final X match with Gable and Gwizdowski a couple times. I think the biggest thing that guys like really underestimate is the re-attack game with Gable.
Yep.
So
I think the thing that really hurt him in those matches was he just thinks that he's at the time he's just young, so he doesn't understand that if you can actually get the takedown, that's important. He was just, you know how Gable is. He wants to bully guys and trying to just punk them. So he was just taking the one against a elite guy like Gwizdowski. Like when I say elite, he's elite. He's a 2-time world bronze medalist.
Yeah.
Like that's not an easy feat to do. And it's like if you get that opportunity, you got to make a 2-point takedown instead of just a push out or a one. Yeah. And that's just being young. I'm not saying anything bad against Gable or Gwiz. It's just those reattacks, he's just coming up and running them out where it's like, how about you get him towards the edge and then you sit him, try to get 2 or 4 instead of just 1. Yeah. So that's those Final X matches were crazy, really crazy.
And you see him go for like a chest wrap too, like when he didn't need to.
Yeah, it was. I think he was just under that pressure. His goal was to get to Final X, to get to Gwizdowski, which is great. But, think about this. This is what I kind of don't like about the whole sitting out situation is Gwiz got to sit out. So what was he training for? He's been training for 5 months to get ready for Final X, which he does deserve that situation because he is a world medalist. But think about it, like Gable had to go through the college season, and then he had to go to the wrestling the trials, and he had to go through Neville's, me, Tony Nelson, and Adam Coon 2 out of 3, and 3 weeks later wrestle a 2-time world bronze medalist.
Yeah, you're just mentally kind of like
you're mentally drained, and as a guy like Nick Gwizdowski is, I'm gonna go this overseas trip and try to get some more experience, get better, and then he's going to Pan Am's, and then so he has 2-3 months to get ready. Where Gable went through the NCAA grind, lost a very close, questionable match against Kassar, and then he goes and wrestles Neville's, and then he wrestles me in a hard fought match, Tony Nelson, and then he puts it on Adam Coon 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Well, that's just a hard 6 weeks right there. How do you get your body ready for it? So,
And then he took that loss to Kassar, That might have hurt him a little bit mentally. That second loss,
yes,
he literally decided by 2 seconds of riding time that match too.
Absolutely, for sure.
A guy like Kassar, he deserves it. Like, it's not like people are gonna say like, oh, he doesn't, like, he shouldn't have won that match. Like, he had the guts to ride him that long. That's really all that really came down to.
And you can't stop the post lefty high C to a double. That's at heavyweight. You can't really stop that.
Just lefty shots in general. Like,
yeah, I mean, he hits it, and it's just like he lulls you to sleep. He's kind of, and then it's he just boom. It's almost like a Frank Molinaro, but it's a heavyweight version of.
It's
boom. So yeah.
You saw that. You're talking about Kassar, right?
Yeah, Kassar. Yeah.
The main thing, how like when you wrestle lefties, it's just a lot harder to score on them in general, right? Like, granted, like, you're both technical dudes, and a guy like Colin Moore is a lefty also, and that was one of the biggest matches talked about that season. Kassar beating Colin Moore, and then the match basically played out the exact same way. Because when you're a lefty, you normally have the advantage over other guys that are like right-handed, because they're going to try to come with the opposite club, and they're not used to wrestling lefties as often, right? Then when you have two lefties go up against each other, it's like, I think Kassar really felt that as an even match because he was more the aggressor of that match.
Sure.
Moore was taking like a more volume of shots like he normally does, right?
Yeah.
Kassar's a guy like Moore feel like a little bit uncomfortable in some situations.
Yeah, Kassar's angles on his shots, though, that match, I remember, like, I watched that match probably 4 or 5 times, like, back. Like, man, this dude's attacks are so crazy because he is a lefty, but he almost kind of everything he does is like he makes you think he's a righty, and then he goes to the left. So.
Yeah, the ability to change direction so that fast really comes with him being like a really small kid growing up, and then like coming through the weight slowly.
Yeah, he knows how to set up his offense.
And right after that, the biggest match, I think it was the most hype. Like Neville's versus Snyder right there.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to talk about is like Neville's getting the first takedown, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. That dude got hurt so many times in college that you really feel like his redshirt year he got hurt, and then his freshman year he might have tore his pec. And it's like he had one season, and it's like dude's 3 seasons behind if you think about it. Like these guys are redshirting, going to off-season tournaments. So you kind of make up a year and a half and season real quick. So yeah.
And I think the one that I really wanted to ask you about is like, how do you feel about that lat drop there?
What do I feel about it? Man, I thought it was crazy. Like,
did you think it was unnecessary though? Because I think he was on pace to get that major, right? But like when you're that ingrained, like Snyder's a competitive dude, right? You just score points. No matter who the guy is, you're gonna be shooting them guys. Like whether it's Saju Live or whether it's like a JV guy, he's coming at you to score points the entire time.
Yeah, that was insane, man. I think he was just
because like he knew he had to get the major.
You're in those moments. It's just like, but you can't like I'm telling you guys, you can't doubt guys at heavyweight. Like that dude's a 4-time California state champ, or what was he? 4-time, right?
3 times. He got injured 1 year.
Yeah, 3-time state champ, and I mean, the dude was good. He was #1 recruit, so he had one of those historic high school careers too. So just because he's been hurt in college, you can't doubt that he has to turn up. So,
yeah. So do you think we'll see? Do you think we'll see Neville's in the international scene more? Or?
He's already in there. I don't know, right? Another thing I wanted to ask you about is like, guys don't think about this, but like when you become like a dad, right? Like a lot of your time gets taken away from like doing a lot of things. You have to deal with your kids. You have a family now, right? And a guy like Neville's who's going to get into that, like, what's the main thing that changed for you with that?
Honestly, like the only thing that changed is it made me more motivated, to be honest. Like
you got more fans.
You got more fans, but it's just like you have a purpose now. Like your purpose is like, of course, I want to be an Olympic champ or world champ. I want to be the best I can be. But now when you have kids, and you have a wife, and all this good things, it's just like you're like, what are you afraid of? Like at the end of the day, your family's gonna love you, and you're gonna have some little kid look up to you that you're their superhero. Even if you lose, win, or you never wrestle again, they're still gonna love you. So I think the hardest part is just like just getting used to a routine. Like my kids get up like at 5 a.m. every day, 5:30. So I try to put them to bed, and it takes a while. We try to put them to bed at 8 o'clock, and they're up at 5:30. So it's like during this quarantine, I've been sneaking out like at 6 o'clock. I hang out there for like 20 minutes. I sneak out and go for a run or get on the bike or do a lift or something. You just got to make more time.
Mm-hmm.
It's my job, right? I want to be the best. I don't have to, but I want to. So I have to prioritize everything. Like when you're training, like when I was like 25, 26, it was just like, yeah, I'm going to get up and go work out whenever. I'm going to just whatever. I don't have to go that hard today. I can go hard tomorrow. Well, now it's like, man, I don't know. Like, what if my kid gets sick and I can't go to practice the next day? So every workout's kind of like a boom. It's ramped up. You care a lot.
Yeah. So it's mostly just like time management. A lot of that.
Time management, yeah.
Well, I think you see that a lot, especially with Jordan Burroughs. He's a guy that, he has young kids too, just like you. And, you see him with his kids a lot. He's bringing his kids to the room and he's, taking them and, just integrating workouts with the kids as well, which, I'm sure that's easier said than done.
Your significant other has to be amazing. That's the other part. They have to care about it and love it as much as you do. And I'm super, super lucky. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, we didn't even talk about your senior season, right?
We forgot your senior season.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Main match I want to talk about is a guy like Alan Jelagayev, really just popping onto the scene that year. Another guy presents a lot of unique challenges.
So I actually beat him that year, and I just choked. This crazy stuff. I got caught in a foot sweep, which is stuff you see, but I don't know. He was good, man. That dude was the Russian guy. I think he was like 27 or something. Seriously.
Yeah. I remember the first match I've ever seen of him was literally him. All I really saw was Tony Nelson getting a wrist in half and pinning him. So I didn't think much of him until I really saw.
So he was at 97. Like he was an All-American 2010 at that weight.
Like a Derek White scenario, kind of.
Yeah. So he was a smaller weight guy, and he went to heavyweight. He just thought it was easy. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And I tell you that my senior year was stacked. It was stacked. You had guys that were 3-time All-Americans not placing and stuff like that. So it was like Tony Nelson won it, Mike McMullen, Galagayev, and me. And Gerard Trice took like 6. There's some other guys, and you're just like, who are these guys? But yeah, Galagayev, man, he was just tough, and he didn't know how to get out on bottom. That was the only way you could beat him. And he got out. I remember the third place match. He got out at 59 seconds, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I would have got one more second, I could have won the match. But hey, man, things happen, and he was just a better man that day.
Yeah.
That day.
I saw again a guy like Jimmy Lawson's guy I watched a lot, like a New Jersey guy. That's mainly the reason, getting best ever heavyweight to come out of New Jersey. So far, Fernandez could make some moves. You never know. So he hits this. Joe Guy's kind of just posted on him. He hits like this arm drag to like a boot scoot on him and like hooks the near leg, right? So like Joe Guy's kind of like he has his leg. He's not in splits yet. But he has like his leg extended, right? And then he has an over-under while he's like in the splits. And then Lawson starts to come up with the leg, and Jelagayev hits an inside trip and just lat drops him.
Yeah, he didn't hit me in that stuff. He tried to, and I was like, no. I used my grown man strength, and I was like, hell no, you ain't doing that. But he was hard, or else, man, he had all these funky positions. He'd come overhook, try to reap you inside trip, and come back, hit you in a lap drop. All that cool stuff you see now, he was like the first guy who was doing it on the college scene. It was scary. But
yeah.
The move he hit on me was he went overhook here, so I circled away from it, foot sweep, and I literally went in the air, feet up like this. Boom, I landed like a cat and came right up, and that was it.
I remember there was a kid in my state. He wrestled at East Stroudsburg, right? His name was Javon Davidson, placed 5th in the state. His main move was literally – he was like 5'6", right? So he was like shorter than everybody. And his move was like a Russian to like a foot sweep. And then he hit that on like high-level guys. Like I still can't figure out to this day like the logistics of like how a foot sweep works.
If you guys – I know this sounds like the old guy, but if you look up Steve Mocco, he had the best foot sweep. I mean, he hit me in that. I wrestled him a lot when I was really young, and he would just hit me in it every time. I'd be like, what the heck? So yeah,
It's insane to be like, because you know like how the move's supposed to be hit, but like you try and then it's just like it doesn't work. But when they do, it's like 100%.
yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, you pretty much covered a lot. Another thing I really want to ask you, like, I'm gonna be wrestling in college next year. Now I have a Pennsylvania state champ that's gonna be a redshirt sophomore this year. So more likely than not, I'm not gonna get a starting spot. Like we'll see what happens. But going from, especially you wrestled heavyweight your senior year, right? You weren't too big, but a big difference I hear like a lot of guys telling me about going from high school to college is like that extra minute in the first period. I never had a problem with like being like what's it called like
Gassed?
getting gassed during matches, right?
Yeah.
And I was like I literally cut to 285 my senior. It wasn't a cut, but like I ate a little bit too much, so the 15 pounds just fell off me, and I was just chilling at 285, right? And like I'd be the guy that would literally drive you off the mat every chance I get because they put in the new stall thing.
Yeah.
Like I would never really have a problem with getting gas. And people tell me like that extra 1 minute because guys hand fight so hard, like at the college level. And especially at the D3, D2 level, a lot of attacks are not fired off. You know, it's mostly just brawling for those 7 minutes. It's like, how bad of a toll does that really take on you? Like as a freshman?
As a freshman, it takes a lot. I remember I took a guy down twice, and I looked at the clock, and it said 2:07. That was my first college match. And I go, are you serious? Like, it is really – it's like you're like, what? And it doesn't really affect you at the time. The first period, it's the third period when you're trying to get out on bottom. And I would only say the big difference is bottom is a mindset in college. Like,
Yeah.
It really is. It's almost like, hey, man, if I told you that I was going to hurt somebody in your family, all you got to do is get out. You're going to get out. That's how you got to kind of treat it. And it's just like, you know, guys are going to stall and just hand fight and try to find ways and wait to the double overtime as a traditional heavyweight and drop down to an ankle and stall. But if you could just find ways of, you know, on your feet where you have little cues, like if I hit a collar tie with my right hand and my elbow touches, I'm just going to go down for a snatch. Even if I don't get it, I get pulled up. And that just keeps your mind off the time, right? Like you just got to have little cues. Like I know that if this dude's a left leg lead, which we were talking about earlier, I'm going to shoot on him every time. Like if you're a left leg lead, it's easy for me to take you down. It's because I could shoot every shot to that side. So like that's just, you got to have little cues. Or I get an underhook on this side, I know he's going to square, so I think about just getting a half attack or a reshot or something, you know, a half shot. You just got to think little things like that, and then next thing you know, you're just like, oh, okay, this ain't bad. But that first shock, if you're wrestling a guy that's not so good at an open tournament, you take him down, you're like, 235 left? Oh my gosh, what is going on? But it's just a mindset of what I would really tell you guys when you do get to that college level is it goes by so quick. Like you guys are like, man, high school is fun and all and you enjoy it, but college is like, it's like this and it's gone. Yeah. And you're like 5 years, what? High school is slow, college is boom.
And the amount of people that like wrestle after that goes down a lot more than it did.
Everybody's a state placer or a state qualifier or a national, you know.
Because I never really had to deal with that in high school. Because like in high school, I would realize my coach would literally tell me to shut down the pace if I knew the match was gonna go 6 minutes, and like play that takedown game. Just get like.
You don't do that in college. You don't want to do that.
He would be like, get on a good attack rather than get on more attacks.
For sure. Sure.
But I think I've seen like I don't see at the D1 level because you see guys like Gable just taking down guys, cutting them. Guys at the D3 level will take you down, just ride you for the entire period.
Yeah, there are those D3 guys and D2 guys. I've wrestled those guys. I mean, Travell Delagneff was a D2 guy.
Yeah.
So it's like those guys are good. Like they have good offense, but it's just like they're just not going to waste their energy on all those takedowns because most D2 tournaments are 1 day. They're not 2 days, you know.
Yeah.
But like I'm not gonna take the guy down the first round 25 times when I know I have the number one guy in my region that night, or later potentially. I mean,
a lot more pins too.
A lot more pins, and those guys are I mean, some of those D2 guys or D3 guys, when they get their legs in, it's over at heavyweight. They get their legs and get a wrist in their bars. It's a game. It's game over. So.
Because
Yeah.
you see some guys are like physical specimens, you know?
Oh,
They
yeah.
just aren't like the greatest wrestlers.
D1, D2, it's just.
You know who Brandon Reed is?
Yeah. I saw
NAIA.
him. He literally almost beat Zach Elam. Zach Elam was up 9 or 10-0 on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back and Zach won like 15-12 or 15. He still almost majored him, but it was like he came back out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So.
I was trying to get him on our podcast, you know, because I remember one day I posted something that I'm like, let's try to get every D1 guy to follow, every heavyweight to follow us. He's commented, I'm like, I've never heard of you before. And I see NAIA champs, so I look him up, and I was like, oh, this kid's legit.
He's nice, bro. Got good talks, good sleep.
I was going to try to get him on the podcast, but he deleted Instagram, so I might reach out to him by email.
Yeah, I know he I follow him on Instagram, too. I think he was going overseas to China.
Yeah, Japan, because his girlfriend's there.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. I don't know why deleting Instagram had to do with that, but.
He got Facebook. I don't know. I could look him up right now.
Yeah.
Since he says Facebook.
I mean, his email's on there, so I could probably just reach out to him. But if he's in Japan, I don't know how well it's going to work.
Yeah, that time difference. Yeah. For sure.
He's going to be insane, though. You know, he's a 2-time national champ. I talked to him. He said he doesn't really know if he's going to try to make an effort to go D1.
He could. I really think he should. I think that kid has a
But a lot of schools aren't willing to take the chance on you if you're already a senior.
Yeah, you still got guys like Demetrius Thomas this past year from Pitt.
Yeah.
He's actually from Missouri, and he never even won a state title. But then look at that guy. He just signed with their club, and he's going to be wrestling internationally. So maybe I get to wrestle him next year. Hopefully I.
Athlete too.
So yeah.
He had Demetrius Thomas beating Mason Paris in overtime.
I'm gonna say no comment.
You'll say no comment. All right.
You're gonna stay neutral on this one.
He's staying neutral on everything, so I don't know.
Not everything.
Let's get into the match that Derek wanted to talk about. You can go ahead with that.
Which one? Oh, you versus Anthony Cassar. My boy Anthony Champ. Anthony Champ's a friend of mine. We're pretty close. I talk to him quite a lot. What happened? Come on.
Nothing, man. I just went out there and wrestled that dude, man.
I have a real question for you before he starts off with all this random stuff. When you went into the match, of course, Cassar beat Gable twice. And then Gable did have 2 wins over you. But you also knew that Gable freestyle was his thing and Cassar was a folk style dude. So did that play into account at all, like mentally or anything, knowing that like you want to play the match a little bit more conservatively? But like even though you didn't, you just like blasted up him right off the whistle, you know, just to like assert your dominance.
Man, I just watching Cassar, I thought he was really, really good. And then watching him at that tournament, it was like I could just tell he wasn't freestyle savvy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like having close matches with guys that I've tagged and pinned. And I was just like, what is this guy doing? Like, you know, I just don't think that he just, you know, folk style, you can kind of boom, boom, boom. And he was, like we said, really good on top. But that match, I didn't really care about what he was, you know, like, you know, those dudes on Flow. And I don't know, maybe you guys tagged me or something on a post like, you know, Cassar, Tanner Hall, and Tony Nelson, who's going to win.
Yeah.
Like, Ant the Champ, which, hey, man, that dude beat Gable Stevenson twice, and I've only beaten Gable once. So
yeah, it's like if I knew he wasn't going to win, but, like, if I don't put him in the poll, people start getting mad, you know?
Yeah, and I think
Cassar, he beat Gable Stevenson.
I think that just – I mean, I don't have anything against Cassar. Like, I'm a fan of his. I think he's going to be great in MMA or senior-level wrestling, whatever he does. And I just – hey, man, this is my job. Like, I was 30. I'm 31 years old right now. Like, my job is just to win. So I didn't really care. And like you said, he's a left leg lead. Well, I'll tell you this. Every single person I wrestled at the senior nationals at that tournament was a left leg lead. So every single one of them got blast doubles the same way every time. It didn't matter if it was Tony Nelson, Sean Schreck, or who else did I have? Garrett Ryan or Anthony Cassar. They all got taken.
Did Schreck graduate? Because I remember he was like a sophomore or something. He's
at a junior college, so he's coming back this year. He's going to surface in the D1 program. I'm not where.
Because he was at Purdue. I was lost. Like, what happened to him?
Yeah, but that match against Cassar, man, I just didn't really care what he was good at because
Yeah.
it was like, hey man, this is my job. So I got that first snatch single and I kind of got it, and I just ran him out of bounds and got one. Well, then the second time I did it again. He just didn't stop it. Like maybe this guy just looked at me as a old school fat heavyweight and didn't think I was fast or strong or quick.
Yeah.
So then I did it again. I took him down again.
Like grown man strength.
Grown man strength. And then the second time, so then we come back in the center again, and he's like still doesn't stop it. So I just go and make it a double leg, which was fine. But he's not like he's just a very confident guy.
Yeah.
And I think when I took him down, that kind of woke him up. And he actually kind of like shoved me in the back a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that in the match. And I'm kind of like, hey, man, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Like I'm just in this zone. And he actually did take me down. I was kind of nervous about that little post I see we were talking about.
Yeah.
So he kind of shot it halfway, and I just bellied down. Like, all right, I'm just going to fall down.
Yeah. Because I see like his main move in college, he would go through guys. But that also, you can't really go through guys like you yourself, guys like Adam Thune, Tony Nelson.
Yeah. So anyways, get to the part where he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just kind of shut down. I'm like, if I score 4 takedowns or something, 3 takedowns, you're not going to beat me. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, if I can take Gable down 3 times, you ain't going to beat me.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's him or Tahu Agul or Gino Petrosvili. And, I mean, I feel like anybody would say that at heavyweight. If I get 3 takedowns, you're going to win.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of shutting it down, playing it safe. And I don't know why he would shoot a double leg on me. I think I've only been taken down a double leg like twice in the last, 10 years of my life. Honestly,
I mean that's his move, It's
Yeah,
always
that's his
down
move.
lefty Russian, and then
So he went lefty Russian. I'm like, this dude's shooting a double. Like, go ahead. So I felt it, and when I felt it, I mean, I don't know if you guys seen this. I'm like pretty strong in the weight room. I can deadlift and squat a lot, and I just pulled his arm up, and I knew he had a hurt shoulder. To backtrack 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I knew how good this guy was when he made the junior world team in 2014, and I knew he got hurt at junior worlds because of a shoulder. So when he shot that shot, I was like, why is this dude shooting? He has a terrible shoulder. Like, shouldn't be doing this. It happened the year before. So it happened, and I just felt bad. Like, that day, I don't know if you guys really noticed it. That day is the day that Gable wrestled that night against South Dakota State and got cleared. So in a matter of 20 minutes, it went from Cassar as the favorite, going to kill everybody, to, man, Cable Stevenson's weight class just kind of cleared out for him. In a matter of one double leg of me just pulling him up. But yeah, that stuff at the end when I said that's grown-ass man strength, that was nothing to do with Cassar.
Yeah, that's just for flow, like they picked against him. I remember that.
Well, yeah, that Christian Piles guy just kind of just said Anthony Cassar is the great athlete, which he is a great athlete.
So is everybody at this level.
Well, yeah, there is, but there's levels to it. Like, hey, man, I've been wrestling on the senior level since I was 18. You're not just going to tech me. I think I've only been teched twice in my life on the senior level, or 3 times ever. So it's not going to happen. And I was just kind of felt disrespected that they really think that he would tech fall me.
Yeah.
They were like, he's going to tech fall Dom and real quick, and he's going to wrestle Tony Nelson and tech fall him. And I was like, dude, what?
It's like the same thing that Soriano did after he beat Joe Colon that beat the streets, started waving at the camera.
Yeah, that's what it was, man. I heard nothing.
Those the type of guys they just try to get under your skin sometimes.
Sometimes, and I think I used it more as motivation. So I got nothing against that kid.
Because a lot of guys just think it came off the wrong way, but you're still you still being national champ, technically.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think it's a national. He beat Gable Stevenson. I didn't beat Gable, so I've only beat Gable one time, and it was 2-2. So I'm beating the guy that's beating him. So I'm kind of thinking in my mind, I'm closing the gap a little bit. That's how I take it, as if I can beat this guy, I have a better chance of beating Gable. I got a better chance of beating Gable. I got a better chance of beating Quiz. Mm-hmm. So that's how I was treating it. It wasn't anything against Cassar. To make the team, I'm going to have to beat somebody like a Cassar and a Gable and a Quiz, or the other way around. Or Tony Nelson. And at the end of the day, my goal is to be the best in the world. And if I get it, I'm going to be really happy. And if I don't, at least I know I went out there and wrestled my hardest, and I tried. So.
Have you ever made the world team? Or?
No, I made it. I made to the finals once, and I've been in like I always lose in the semis. I
know there's some like absolute. Gwiz is a guy like he's weird because he'll shoot on you, get completely extended, but then he has the strength to like horse you up and get into that position, then just finish from there.
It's crazy because I don't remember when he made this big jump, but I used to beat the crap out of him. I used to beat him bad.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he just made this jump, and then
it's like when you're that big, it's like if you can figure it out, you're set,
Well, he shoots that single leg, and maybe I should be telling you guys this because we're heavyweights, but we're all going to stick. Yeah, when he gets his single leg, he wants you to sprawl. So if you sprawl straight back, like you take your leg back like you're supposed to,
he'll like head wheel you.
He's gonna head wheel you, but he shoots like this. So when he does it, he's gonna cut you back every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time, and I've been trying for 4 years trying to figure that out.
Wouldn't it be better to let him bend it at the knee? You know what I'm saying? And then come around and scoop and go ground block on him.
You don't sprawl. You turn your knee in. You don't try to sprawl. You try to just drop to your knees and then take your leg back slow. And you know what? I haven't wrestled them since 2017. Like I've drilled with them and I've gone matches at the OTC with them, but in a tournament I haven't. And the last time I wrestled them, it was 2-2. And then every match I wrestle with him is like a 2-2 or 4-4. It's not. I mean, that's a guy that me and him is 9-9, 2-2, 5-5, 4-4.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be crazy. So that's why that's the part I like about wrestling a guy.
Guys, you see some difference with the guys like Tao Gul, the reigning gold medalist. His speed is deadly. He has the speed of Kassar, but he also has the technique to go along with it.
His lace is unreal, man. His lace is unreal. Watch it.
And the guy with the Gino, I don't know. I didn't see that match with him and Tao Gul, so I really don't know what happened.
He gassed him out. I've wrestled Precious Vili, and I was up 4-0 on him, and I ended up losing like 5-5 or 5-4 or something.
It's rare to see these foreign guys with conditioning like that.
They don't train, man. They just whenever they're ready to go.
Yeah, they lift though new levels.
Crazy.
Yeah. So you're on the Greco scene like a little bit,
I wrestled one tournament Greco. That was the first time I wrestled Greco.
Oh, you were. I remember you got to the finals against Adam Kuhn.
No, I made it for third.
I don't know what I was watching. It might have been freestyle.
It was the semis of the Open. He beat me freestyle.
Okay, so Greco, you have of course considered the greatest wrestler of all time. You have Alexander Karelin, obviously. Yeah. You have Mijuan Lopez Nunez from Cuba. He's gonna be going for his 4th Olympic gold title. So technically, if he does win that, he goes down as the greatest wrestler of all time.
He's a go.
Yeah. Do you think he gets it?
He gets it.
He gets it.
He wants to do it.
That guy from Turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the video of the dance he did after that match.
Yeah.
That's the best thing I've seen. I couldn't put Wiggle by Jason Derulo on it because it's never on TikTok, so I got kind of mad.
Yeah, he's good, man. Those guys are. Those are the guys I'm glad they don't know how to wrestle freestyle and shoot because those guys will probably try to crush me.
I mean, they don't need to. Like, when you're that big, you do what you want,
Yeah, that's why I'm glad they wrestle Greco.
Even against most guys, he'll literally just bear hug dudes.
It's crazy. I'm glad they wrestle Greco.
A guy is crazy. Like, in freestyle, in New Jersey, you had John Poznansky, right? What he did was he would literally get 14 up on guys, just grab him by the stomach and squeeze, and guys would just give up on him. And to get, a D1 commit to give up in the state finals against you is unreal. He wrestled a Harvard commit, was up 14-1, and then just squeezed, and guy just gave up.
That's insane.
Yeah. To just mentally damage a guy that bad, and he's he only has one eye too.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got diagnosed with Coats disease, and he lost his eye, right? And then he comes back his sophomore year. He beats a Buffalo commit in the county finals, who's a returning state placer, Mike Petit. You might know him, you might not.
Yeah.
And then his junior year, our guy almost makes the county finals, one match away. Again, had a semi-slide, He lost 4-2 to the kid that Poznansky ended up teching in the finals. And then this year, our guy got to the finals, got teched in the second period, It's not even like it's a normal tech. The guy would legitimately shoot on you, he would get that high crotch so fast you wouldn't be able to touch him.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And to have like that, you think like at these lower weights, like with the one eye, it would impact you a lot more because guys would just be changing direction on you so fast. But the fact that like he adjusted to that so much, and he's been able, because that's not even like you're like your arm or something's messed up. It's like your vision is kind of impaired to an extent.
For
You're able
sure.
to overcome that in a sport where like everything's so visual, you have to like see what's going on. Just crazy to see.
It's in your DNA, man. It's in your DNA. Like my man Derek said.
Yeah. So what else we have?
We've come to the fun part of the podcast. We had some fun with Wick during this. We have some good questions for you. So let's start off with the first one. This is Heavyweight Nation. We got the big boys out here. What's your go-to cheat meal?
Man, I am not a big like sweet guy, so
No.
Man, I eat like the same things all the time, but maybe like some cheese curds from like somewhere as if I'm training hard, I get to get some cheese curds or something.
Interesting. All right. So zombie apocalypse happens. You could take 4 people with you. Who you taking? We'll count your wife and 2 kids that they're already with you. So you get 4 people to bring with you.
Man, I don't even know. I didn't think about something like that. How do you think about that?
Evan Wick was pretty quick with it.
He
goes,
brought Trent because he's big.
He goes, yeah, I want Trent because he's big. He was like,
all right, I'm taking Brock Lesnar. I'm taking
respect.
I'm taking who else do I want to take?
Brock Lesnar is definitely a good one.
Taking Rocky Elam. That dude's insane. I know you guys know he is. I think he'd kill anybody.
Is this Zach's brother?
Yeah, Rocky's the one. He's ranked number 1 this year in high school at 195.
180. Okay.
Yeah, he wrestled 82 at Fargo, but 95. I take him because he's insane. You gotta get some crazy like country hunting guys. So
I actually got 2 more questions after this, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, you got 2 more. You got to find your 2 rednecks. You got to get 2 of those at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll just take 2 kids on our team who are good hunters. I'll just say that.
All right, Akil, it's your turn for your 2 questions.
Okay, this is gonna be about the Olympic trials. You're probably not gonna want to answer these, but 97, what happens?
Jaden Cox.
Jaden Cox. Do you think there's a chance that Bo Nickel takes out Kyle Snyder?
No, because he has to beat Jaden to get to him. So no.
That is true. Do you think the matches are gonna be a lot closer though this time?
What, Bo Nickel and Jaden?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think it's gonna be closer?
I'm telling you guys, I wrestled Jaden Cox when he was in like 6th grade, and I was like, this kid's amazing. And even when in high school we had like RTC practices, he was like a whatever. And I just took 3rd at NCAA. We're talking about my junior year, right?
Yeah.
I just took 3rd. This kid comes in, and I'm almost losing to him, and I'm like, what?
His athletic ability is unmatched.
Well, it's not even – he just does not want to lose. He doesn't want to lose in anything.
I think that, the match against Kyle Snyder in the semifinals, the main thing is like what type of like it just looked like he had like a lapse in judgment,
Yeah, so that was like the year his freshman year when he won it, I was training with him. Like I was just training at the RJC here. I actually left for a couple years. I wasn't here, but you just tell Jaden didn't have a good workout partner. He wasn't pushing himself.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you that Jaden Cox is the hardest working dude I know. That man. Boy.
Yeah, props to Kevin Gatson though. Like that was his tournament.
That was my dude.
Yeah.
But that Jaden senior year, he's Olympic bronze medalist, right?
Yeah.
This dude is running 4 miles to practice every morning, and then runs 4 miles go to practice, and then practices and then runs back. Just because
8 miles just to go to and from practice.
He doesn't want to leave any doubt, and he's coming off of an Olympic bronze medal.
Yeah. Is that how he cuts the weight though?
It wasn't cutting weight. That's just how he is.
Oh.
He's that insane. Like
that's crazy.
That's why like I respect Kyle Snyder. I think he's good, but I've never really seen Jaden lose when he wants to win. So, yeah.
I think like a guy like Snyder's been like, once you start scoring on him mentally, he's just like, you know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That dude is that man's.
You can't count him out though, you know.
He's Captain America, man. He won it for us when he beat Satchel Live. So that's all I can say.
He didn't beat Taj Live in the Olympic finals. That was.
Oh, I'm talking about in the Worlds when he won that.
The Worlds.
He was down pretty big.
After Taj Live made the full bump to 97, you know.
Yeah, man.
I think Jaden might be the only guy that can take him out.
That's what I want to see. I want to see.
But if Taj Live, you know, if he can continue this, he can go down as the best wrestler. Like he could win 4 golds.
Yeah, I want to see Jaden versus Satchel Live. So.
It's easily 1 versus 2 of the best wrestlers in the world at that point.
Absolutely.
So, big debate, 74. Burroughs gets the bye to the finals, right?
Yeah, he does. They get the bye to the semis.
He gets the bye to the semis?
Yeah. So he has to win 2 matches to get to JB.
So who would he – Dake has to win 2 matches to get to JB.
Yeah.
So Dake versus Imar is just see, that's what – no. I think if Imar versus Burroughs was a semifinal match, that could have won either way. I just don't think Imar and Dake is a good matchup for him. I think Dake just bodies him, protects him.
I wouldn't say attack him, but because – I mean, Imar jumped levels. He
of course.
That
you can't count out a guy like Ryan Deacon, though, if he comes up.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of good dudes at the way. You got guys like Makai Lewis and stuff, so I'm not going to –
Makai hasn't been, like, on the freestyle – hasn't been doing as good, though, on the freestyle scene.
But he just turns it on when the lights are on, man.
Yeah.
All that matters is one tournament.
You saw it at the NCAA tournament. He turned it on when the lights are on.
He won a junior world title, man.
Yeah, I know that, but, like, you know. He also did get thrown by guys like Logan Massa.
Yeah.
It's like consistency was going to win you that at that point.
Well, I'm going with JB. So
JB?
I mean,
I'm going to go with JB as well.
I think he gets that's the same what I'm going to say. I think Kyle Dake is the front runner, right? I think Jordan Burroughs, this is probably his last run for the Olympics at this point, you know.
All I'm going to say is I can't wait to be there. Hopefully I'm watching it, and I already made the Olympic team, and I get to watch match number 3, and I get to enjoy it. So that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. 3 matches out of those 2 is all I care about.
65 is a big one also.
65, you said?
Yeah, I think Zayn gets it. I think Zayn gets too much hate for that because he beat Yanni. Maybe it would have been a controversial call.
I watched that live.
He takes the match every time.
I watched that live. Zayn versus Yanni at Wilkes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. J.O.'s looked really good, and I don't know if anybody's going to stop that.
Yeah, no, that's another big thing, you know. But the thing is, J.O. makes the team, I think so does Fix, you know. I think if Gilman makes the team, so does Zayn.
I'll just tell you this. Spencer Lee's the truth.
Oh, no, man. Thomas Gilman literally transferred. Yeah, he did transfer away, I think, because of Lee.
I'm just not.
That's what it is.
I'm not going to talk on anybody's name, but I think Spencer Lee is going to be an Olympic champ either 2021 or 2024. So,
yeah.
I think I have to agree with that. I feel like he's at the next level. You know, he is somebody.
The whole Spencer Lee blocking me thing on Instagram.
Yeah, Spencer Lee blocked him on Instagram.
My bad. I didn't mean to bring that up.
Nah, cool. He's not going to see this video, most likely. Maybe if he does.
If you do, Spencer Lee, I'm a
It wasn't anything
guy.
personal. I didn't tag him in the video. It was a video of, like, it's supposed to be, like, some guy's favorite high school matches, and it was DeSanto winning that Fort State final. And then I went to sleep because, like, my sleep schedule was so messed up. Some guy tagged Spencer Lee. Next thing I know, when I wake up, I come back to that comment. He's like, haha, now I have a reason to block this page. I'm like, oh, you're not a heavyweight.
I'll DM him to ask him to be on the podcast.
Who?
Spencer Lee.
No.
He doesn't have me blocked.
Yeah, but that's going to be awkward. I don't know how to go about that. Maybe in the future. Like, it's nothing personal. It's just like, he blocked the page. He didn't block me.
For sure.
It's whatever, man. Yeah. If you can't take a joke, you can't take a joke. It's whatever. Yeah.
But he wasn't meant to be disrespectful in any way. It's just like I didn't tag him in it. If I tagged him in it, yeah, I'd be fine if he blocked me. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's messed up. But you wouldn't do that, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Like it's not that deep. Like it's if it was like a Spencer Lee meme page and then like you block that, that's kind of tough. But it's a heavyweight page,
For sure.
and if
For the big
it's gonna be
boys.
like if you're lighthearted about it, he could have at least texted me about it or something. Just be like, oh, can you delete the video for me? I would have done it. But it is what it is at this point. It's no hard feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, I wish you all the success, Dom. I hope we see you on the Olympic team. I really think it could happen. I hope it goes your way. Wish you the
It's
best.
anybody's weight, really.
Yeah.
It is, man. I just want to compete at the best, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Hey, let it fly, 100%.
You can get Zach Elam on for actually no.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit up Zach Elam right after this.
Yeah, I'll hit him up right after this.
Yeah, he'll
He's
hop
one of the
on.
guys I've wanted to talk to. I think he could be very good coming into this season. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think he's ranked like 10th right now, and
Yeah.
he
I
actually
think rankings are all over the place at the upper weights.
he's dude was in around the 12 as a true freshman.
Yeah.
So then he has a year of he had 2 torn shoulders then, so now he has 2 repaired shoulders. He's been training with me for a year and a half now. I'm not saying I'm going to make the difference.
Who do you
but
lose to in the blood round? Hilger?
He lost to Hilger.
Yeah. I mean, Hilger's legit, though. I think, in my opinion, Hilger's the all-around most technical heavyweight.
Good. He's good on top, and he has a good sweep single, I will say.
He has amazing defense, too, which people really discredit.
He does. He does.
But against a guy like Gable, it's like
You don't, yeah.
you don't defend. Unless you're Kassar. You're that quick. No. So, yeah, I think it's going to be it, right?
Great episode. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Really do appreciate it.
Again, you're one of
Especially
my favorite heavyweights to watch, It was great having you on, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate what you
We'll
guys
be-
do. Represent
we'll
for the
be-
heavyweights.
We'll be rooting you on during the Olympic trials. We will be, making sure we watch out for you.
Yeah, you guys will probably have somebody like Gable or Gwiz on too, so it'll be all right.
Yeah, I doubt Gable's going to respond.
Nah, I don't like. I'm not a Gable guy.
Gable,
I made it
Gable-
very public. I made it very public that I voiced my opinion that I don't think Gable Stevenson will ever win the national title. I think this season was his year, and I think now with all these guys coming in, I think Gable gets outmatched.
Hey, man.
I'm not gonna talk like that. Gable's the front runner. I think of everything objectively. Gable's the front runner. I think it's possible. Not Gwiz. I think it's possible that Kirk beats him. I think it's possible a bunch of guys can take him out, right?
Colton Schultz,
But
Hilger,
there's no real reason
Spencer.
for me to think that right now he's not the guy who's gonna win it.
He's for sure number one. So
Right now,
All right,
he's-
yeah, but-
change. So yeah, it's good having you on, man. So this has been Late Night Shots, episode 18, guys, with Don Bradley. And if you made it this far, we're gonna have Wisconsin's Trent Hilger on tomorrow. So be sure to check that out. And peace.